Sorry.
Well, she used to get flooded, but after we did the change in the drainage at the back of that subdivision, she called me and said, how thankful she was because she's never had water in her basement. This one kind of made up for it.
Recording's on. Gotta wait for Denise. Get here. Right. Who's going to Fanon this year? Everybody. In Emmons, what is it?
Is there just outside?
Yeah, he's smoking outside.
Okay.
10-minute break, he's gotta have a smoke.
Doesn't have to have 10 minutes to have a cigarette.
Well, do you know, did you ever smoke?
Long time ago, tried it for a couple of weeks.
I tried the old cigarillos.
Yeah,
Yeah, those were those popular at one point.
yeah, those skinny cigars. I Colts. Those Colts,
Yeah.
I smoked those for years.
Yeah, well, I got into them for a while, but
Yeah.
it's just doing it to be, what do you call it? Cool,
Be cool.
but it didn't really have any effect on me.
Richard, did you ever try to change back or snuff?
Oh, I did not have any interest in that.
My son did that.
No, never tried.
Every time he played baseball,
Jack Osley, let me take a shot.
All right, we can start, Linda.
John Cattle had it, he cheated all the time. That's a lot. So it was just a look at, well, they made out of it.
504.
Okay, holding office and admin meeting to order. The approval of the agenda, we have an addition, Denise.
Yeah, 7C. What it is again?
Information technology,
Pardon?
on-call information technology. Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah, the report. That's what it is. It's a report, staff report regarding a RFP. For a. Yes, on call.
So with that addition, can I have an approval of the agenda?
So moved, Counselor Stevens.
Second, John. John. Anyone with a declaration of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, carry on. They will go next to the minutes of the March the 24th meeting and motion to put it on the floor. So, yeah. Seconded.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Nobody?
No, I would.
Sleeping. Anyone with any questions about the minutes? I had one, Rose, Denise. There was a motion there that the Office and Admin Committee recommends to council to donate $1,000 to the Angel Bus. But at the same time, we asked for a profit and loss statement. Did you ever get that?
To be honest, no, I have not. And I will still request, to be honest, yeah, I didn't even request it yet. I'll make a note.
Move on then. To old business, housing development. I think Denise has some information on that for us.
Yeah, I did see the DSAB report. It is not to be made public at this point in time, so I can't issue it to council. It is estimated that in a couple weeks, they will make it public and it will, go to this committee, the next month, in the next committee.
Okay. Go on then to the new procedural bylaw, 2025-12, the third and final reading. And we have some a memo here from Councillor Scott with some questions with regard to that. Dale, do you want to address them?
Yeah, I just put down a few things to consider. 4.1A, I don't know if everybody has their procedural bylaw draft in front of them. That's the notice of 72 hours prior to the municipal meetings. Had no concern with that. That's been done. But we don't have any, there's no mention of a public notice of a meeting agenda. And in the light of the public needing to notify 7 days prior to speaking on the agenda item, I think, as I said, I think this needs addressed. One concern is an example of an item that's important for the agenda. A delegate won't know, someone that wants to speak won't know until that agenda comes out. Sometimes right now, the agendas are coming out 48, 36 hours before the meeting. So it makes it very difficult. They can't get on the agenda, which our procedural bylaws say it has to be an item on the agenda. So they need to go to the mayor, go to the chair of the committee, go to the CEO or designate and ask to be on that meeting. So they have to do it in a special request. My concern is we shouldn't be making it difficult for our ratepayers, our residents to be able to speak. If they're going to be able to speak, say on a property issue, they can't, if they don't know the agenda, they've missed the property issue, property committee to speak, but they'll also miss the council meeting that Thursday to speak. So therefore, we're going to make a motion and they haven't been able to speak. If they're aware of the situation where they could call the mayor and get things in a very quick way to get on, fine, but our procedural bylaw says that it needs to be what's the wording, an emergency, needs to be a major priority. I lost the words there. Anyways, the urgent nature of the matter requires a decision prior to the next council or committee meeting. It makes it very difficult because staff would have to have the agenda out probably 10 days before the meeting to allow the delegate to see it, the agenda, and decide if they would like to speak to that motion or that item on the agenda. So I'm finding it very difficult in my mind. I think we should make it available as much as possible to hear from our constituents. And I know we've had issues and it's been confusion and it's been difficult sometimes, some of these issues when they fill the council chamber, and it's difficult to keep order. But this is a procedural bylaw that's going to dictate every person that comes to speak. I don't know the solution unless we go back to 2 days. I don't know the solution, but I think our constituents need to be able to see the agenda so that they can make an informed decision whether to speak to that item.
Richard?
Yeah, I agree with Dale. I think we need to make every effort to make sure that the residents have a chance to be part of the discussion. And if we have to jiggle our cutoff dates in order to give them time to do it, it may mean that we don't get everything on the agenda when we want it, but at least the process allows them to interact with the agenda and with council. And we have a better approach.
Brian?
I just went through, Dale's got a lot of numbers here and it's totally confusing as to what's going on here. But I can see this, and I said in the past, we've gone with the discretion of the clerk, the CEO, and the chair of that committee. And maybe we should get back to that a little bit closer to, as long as the agenda is not being issued to the public, then it should be the discretion of the clerk and the chair of that committee. And at least give every opportunity for that individual to speak as a delegation up until that agenda is issued. So.
Derek?
I think it's a lot simpler than that. We're asking the agenda be out 7 days before a meeting. That gives the public time to see an agenda. The time limit for the public then should be maybe 3 days before a meeting. We can always add stuff to an agenda. We do it all the time. We amend agendas right in meetings. We amend agendas. So if your agenda for a meeting is coming out 7 days before the meeting is supposed to happen, that should give the public lots of time to actually see that agenda and decide if there's something they need to speak about, and give them 3 days to submit that they want to be a delegation. Very simple.
Well, that is covered in 4.1. And it says at least 72 hours prior to the meeting.
Yeah.
So that's 3 days.
I think, as Derek indicated, if that agenda is out 7 days ahead of time, and then we're adding things to the agenda after that, it doesn't give the public time to be able to interact.
We should be able to allow things to be added to it unless it's something that's an emergency, which we do.
There's a request.
Yeah, but the public should be able to see that meeting and have 72 hours to decide if they want to speak to an issue. That's what you do. I don't think we should be adding major things to agendas like we have been. That nothing's that big of a rush unless it's an emergency or something or another. So, and that has happened, and that really stirs up the public. So, if you're sticking to our agendas.
I think Dale's got a good point, and he says publish something you can.
Well, no, I mean, Derek's right in the fact that if somebody sees an agenda and requests to speak to it, then that is at the discretion of the chair, and the clerk. Yeah, like, I mean, if we're already set with a huge agenda and there's 4 items, and there's already 3 delegations, and, it's up to the clerk to say, well, no, not at this meeting, but however, I can let the chair know that you wish to be a delegation and we'll schedule you at the next meeting. So when you do come to talk about the issue, that there's a delegate that wants to, speak towards the issue. If there's no delegation at all, the chair can say, yes, yeah, we do have time for that delegate. And, we can definitely accommodate that. Like, agendas are not set in stone. You're right, the 7 days allows people to review the agenda and then say, hey, I want to speak to that. And can I be added? We're not adding necessarily other items to the agenda unless they are an emergency item. Any other items that come in during that 1 week period that belong to that committee, if they're not of an urgent nature, can wait till the next meeting.
So that means then that this procedural bylaw, the way it is written now, we're staying, they're not changing it,
Where are we here?
4.1.
Well, we wouldn't have to change it.
Notice of 72 hours prior to meetings.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I don't have it with me here, and I wish I did, because then I could refer to it. But I can review that. I mean, it's important that we get this document right, and so I will review that. And if you wanna just hold this over for another month, we can review it at that point in time. I think it's important that this document be to the best of our ability.
Well, I think, Madam Chair, we're all agreeing that we want to give the public the chance to participate wherever they feel a need, and makes for good organizational and good.
I can
management.
review what other municipalities have done in their procedural bylaws and bring that back to the next meeting.
Then, Councillor Scott still has another, item with regard to that.
Yeah, I would just like to clarify, the 72 hours is for notice of a meeting. Whether it's council or committee or special meeting, council or that's 72 hours is for a meeting. Now we're talking about a notice on the agenda, so it's two different things. One is a notice for a meeting and one is a notice for agenda. And it's the agenda that's asking for a week ahead. And sorry, Brian. I've got all these numbers and maybe I should have thrown out the whole procedural bylaw, but anyways.
No, you made a good point here with all these numbers that are being thrown in there. It is confusing.
Okay, 4.3B talks about, I'll just get it here, talks about all the items on the agenda. The agenda is set by the clerk and the CEO. And then all items of this agenda will be referred to the clerk and CEO by 4 p.m. 7 days prior to the meeting. I just wanted clarification if that means like council members and committee members. This means them, like we need to have a request for an agenda on a meeting a week before.
I'll go through that section. I do have this in my thing.
So we're talking about 4.3.
Yeah,
B.
4.3B,
B.
which says all items for this agenda will be referred to the CAO clerk by 4 p.m. 7 days prior to the date of the meeting. There is no specification on whether it's done by members of council, the mayor, or the public. All items that are received. And we receive like items from a multitude of sources, whether they be DSAB or emergency management, or all of these things are received, and the members of the public writing letters and stuff. So we collate all this information, and then 7 days before the meeting, we'll then make the agenda and review it with the chair of the committee.
I guess I just wanted clarification because 4.3A about preparing the agenda, who's going to prepare it, CEO and clerk.
Well, actually, sorry, it's prepared by staff.
Yes,
I mean,
Prepared
I
by staff.
delegate the preparation of the agenda to the staff member that's in charge of that committee.
right. And then B says all items of this agenda will be referred to the clerk by 4. I just want a clarification that you council members, committee members will be also required to, if they want an agenda item, if they want something on the agenda, that'll be clarification, that'll be us.
That's everybody, no matter if you're council or, that's everybody.
Everybody, fine, that's great. Okay, 4.8B, we know is a delegation, the time online is 10 a.m. 7 days before. 4.9F is the petition. And, that's 10 a.m., 7 days
For
before.
which one? 4.9.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
that shall be submitted in, with timeline specified in 4.8.
right. So-
Okay,
So that's the same time. And then, in the petition policy, I have it here, but it's 7.5.2. The petition policy is 4 p.m., 7 days. So now we've got a discrepancy, as I said.
actually, I've got a note on mine to change
Yeah,
the agenda, this to 4 p.m.
for everybody.
for everything.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
That was the only, and then the last one, maybe it's just a bit of housekeeping, 411.2. 7. Use it, we're talking about rescinding, in this,
Sorry, for what?
4.11.
Okay, there's no 4.11.2.
That was the one that we got for those motions that I
Yeah.
made, for rescinding.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right, so yeah, let's change that on this sheet then. Yes, sorry, 4.11.2, yes.
It uses the terminology, or uses the term reconsideration in that. So and we're talking about rescinding, and 4.11.25, 10, 15 uses the same motion to reconsider, but we're addressing rescinding in this. So I'm just wondering if maybe rephrasing.
Sorry, which one? 4.15 you said?
Yeah, 4.11.2, and then in Roman numerals, it's 15 VX.
0.2. I don't have a VX on mine, my 4.11.2 only goes up to 11 XI.
Just one moment.
XV is not a Roman numeral.
Yes.
X is. It would be VX for 15. Sorry, XV for 15, not VX. I'm not sure.
Not that either.
Oh,
It is the motion for,
okay,
to
no, you're
reconsider.
talking about just X, saying if a motion to reconsider, that should say rescind, yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. just a rephrasing there,
Yeah.
just to make it clear.
No, you're right, I need to, because it was basically just a cut and paste
Yeah,
with changes for some of the wording,
that's
so
right.
that both were accommodated, yes,
Yeah.
I will fix that.
I thought that that's what was happening there, was just putting it together in a template.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay,
So do we need a direction to staff or anything, Denise, for that? No?
well, just to circle back to the, public notice. No, sorry, not public notice, for the delegation. Is there anything in specific you wish me to add or change with respect to a delegation request regarding an item on an agenda?
Well, I think Denise, if we keep the same format, then regardless of whether it's, what's the terminology there, which is in, important issue. If it's going to be, they ask to be a delegate and it's gonna have to go through the CEO and the mayor, then there should be some leeway there. So like, I understand if there's 3 or 4 delegations, that's quite understandable. You can only handle so many delegations, and we've had that. But if it's like a single delegation, they haven't been able to ask to be on the meeting agenda because they haven't seen it, then there needs to be some allowance when it comes to the mayor and the CEO to allow them to speak.
Well, it's not necessarily the mayor, that's only a council, the mayor, it would be the chair of the committee.
Chair.
You know, so if somebody wishes to attend and be a delegate, it's up to the chair. After that 7 days from the 7 days to the day of the meeting, it's up to the chair to then accept as a delegation. And we can amend the agenda at the meeting directly and add them. I'm not, because it's not going to be where just because they didn't get it in within that 7 days and they're not on the agenda, they can't attend, or maybe they can't participate. That's not the intention of it. The intention is that we have to set a date. That we have to set a date that we can publish the agenda. The agenda is not set in stone. The chair still has the ability to add stuff based on urgency or request. So I mean, once and if there's enough change, we can issue an amended agenda. To update it, but generally, staff needs to have that cutoff date where we say, okay, now I can produce the agenda. That way it gives the public time to see it. Because if we're always amending the agenda and adding things, that's where we get to the 72 hours where we haven't even had time to put an agenda out yet. Because a lot of people wait till the last minute to get their stuff in. And the staff needs to have that date deadline.
Derek,
Back in my day, Dale, doing meetings, it was always with leave of council or leave of committee. It wasn't just the chair that decided on whether you were going to listen to a delegate. Somebody came, wanted to speak. You said to your committee, do we want to hear a delegate? And if the majority said, yes, we do, that's what happened. And does that need to be in our bylaw somewhere? That's the way it used to be done. And now it's gone to, well, if you're not on the agenda, you can't speak, and everybody goes crazy at meetings and the whole bit. I'm elected as an official to represent the public, and if somebody comes to one of my meetings and wants to speak, I think they should be able to. So that's the way it was done in my day. Richard, you've been here as long as I have.
Maybe longer,
Well, you were on the old council,
it was on,
Carvin.
But that always happens anyway.
Yeah.
It does. People have come to meetings and requested there and they've been given leave to speak.
Yep.
So I mean, that I don't think that's really gonna stop.
I think if you leave it up to just the chair of a committee, and the chair of the committee doesn't like the public or doesn't like the issue, they're gonna say no. And I've seen it happen.
that could happen just as well if it came to a full committee.
At least the full committee gets to vote on it.
Brian,
I do agree with Derek about listening to the public and all that. But having said that and seeing what's going on or what's happened in the past here, if we're going to do that and make it common knowledge that people can come here and openly speak, I have no problem with that. But what I have a problem with is the conduct of some people. And if we're going to allow it to be open, then we have to make it very clear that their conduct is also gonna be scrutinized as well as ours. So to open it up to anybody who comes to that door, which I got no problem with. But once they get here and they speak, then their conduct also has to be scrutinized too. And they must be made aware that if they cross that line, they can be asked to leave.
Dale,
Yeah, I would have a concern with the evening of the meeting starting at 7, people come in and they want to be a delegate, maybe 2 or 3 want to speak. No, I think they need to call, register to speak. And if they're not in the time frame that's been set out, then it becomes the chair with Denise, probably with Richard as a mayor, that says, yeah, they can speak. But I don't think it should be a free-for-all, just walk in and speak. I think they have to request to speak ahead of the meeting. It's just that week. And in certain situations, council will pass a motion and they won't have an opportunity to speak to it because of that timeline.
Most times we don't allow delegations of council, only at committee.
That's right.
Yeah.
Once in a while, we've had delegations that come, so but you're right,
Real,
it's mainly a committee.
so decisions can be made. Public never had a say on
That was my concern. I mean, if the agenda, and I understand that staff, the workload, the time to prepare an agenda, and also agenda items that come. Sometimes we get agenda items that have come to staff the afternoon of the meeting. Well, you can't control that. The only thing is put it off to another meeting, but sometimes it needs to be addressed. But it's those issues that delegates would like to speak to. And I don't know the solution, I don't know the perfect arrangement there, but it's just a matter of allowing us to hear from our constituents. That's my concern, just as long as we can hear from them. If it's set in the timeline of a week, fine, but hopefully they understand that they can still ask to speak, prior to the meeting.
Well, Denise is going to make the changes and we'll get a copy of it before the next.
Yes, and I will research what other municipalities have done with respect to allowing delegations after an agenda has been set and maybe introduce an extra section in there with respect to that.
Thank you.
it. Yep,
The next item is the events grant application process, large and small. Denise, anything on there yet?
No,
Okay,
you would pause for just a second, so I can
Yep.
get up to date on my minutes. Right, thank
we'll
you.
go on then to new business.
Yeah,
Municipal Disaster Relief Ontario. Guess we got a copy of this. Denise, other than the information in here, do you have anything further?
well, the public portion of the disaster relief is handled by the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and that's beyond the scope of council. They will look at it and assess whether they will activate the program. Now, for the municipal side of it, council needs to make a motion that a request from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing to activate the municipal disaster. It's MDRAO. So we'll need a motion from council if council wishes to request that this disaster relief be activated for the municipality. There are still hoops that we have to jump through. We have to prove that our loss or our expenses with respect to the emergency is 3% of our general taxation. So we'll need to show our numbers. I think that 3% brings us to about 180,000. So did we spend that much with respect to all the road repairs, the sand, everything that we've had to do? And we'll have an accounting. We've had staff keep detailed records of how many man hours, overtime man hours were implemented through the disaster. So as soon as we can figure all that out, we'll have accounting for council. But in order for the program to be initiated, council has to make that motion.
Would like to make the motion. John?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Seconder?
Yes,
Thank you. I did notice when I read this that we have 120 days after we are approved to submit, so that would bring us to August.
But just clarification if I could. So you said that we have to have had an expenditure that was related to the flood of at least 180,000.
Oh, well, whatever our taxation is, 3% of the general taxation.
5 million, so.
Yeah, That's about 150 then, yeah.
So. We might not qualify then if it doesn't.
Well, we've had a lot of road repairs, a lot, and those, and a lot of the road repairs aren't completed yet. We've done temporary fixes, but where the road's all broken up and we actually have to go in and repair the road to maintain the original condition of the road, that's all, can be qualified as expenses.
Yeah,
Yes, and you mentioned hours, so maintenance and roads hours would go into that expense.
Not regular hours,
No,
it's only the overtime hours,
so
yes.
there would be overtime there, and none of our infrastructure facilities were involved or damaged, were they?
Yes,
Oh.
the Manitoulin Family Resources,
Oh.
which is still owned by the municipality.
Right.
Yes, we have the insurance, looking at that now.
Right.
They have the contents insurance, we have the building insurance. So we have, the intact public entities have their adjuster already on site and, they've started that process.
Might not be a far stretch to go to 150 million or 150,000.
Well, we're researching what the deductible is. Our normal deductible is 10,000, but for the flood premium, it may be more.
Mhm.
Well, we're looking through our documents to see exactly what that number is.
Derek,
Until the water recedes on some of our bridges and that, we won't know if there's any damage.
Most of the bridges were in good condition. When
Yeah,
we talk about Blue and Grimesthorpe and all that, they're fairly new bridges, and so I don't feel that there would be a lot of damage, but yes, you are right, we will need to inspect all the bridges to ensure that no damage has occurred.
yeah, because we did have damage at our brand new bridge on, Line Road.
Yeah, yeah, we
So,
did, we had scouring on the northwest side.
they're within half an inch of the top, or the bottom of the bridges, I guess you'd say, top of the bridge, bottom of the bridge, of water flow capacity. So until that goes down, you're not gonna know any damage that may be under that water line.
I don't think we'll have any trouble to get to 150,000. Okay, we'll go on to the next one, bylaw 2026-18, vote by mail.
Yeah,
Denise has given us the bylaw, all the
This is-
information.
identical to the previous one. It was passed in 2022. Now the one in 2022, the reason why we're repassing it is because the one in 2022, even though it said for future years, specifically only references the 2022 election. So I thought it best just to ensure that the new bylaw is passed. The only thing that has changed in this bylaw are dates. I have not changed anything else.
You're happy with the way it transpired at 22?
Yeah, I think it was a well-run election. Ruth did an excellent job. I didn't see that there was any hiccups. There was, a couple recounts, I believe. But, other than that, everything went fine.
Yes, Derek.
I'd make a motion that we we receive this bylaw with all three readings.
I'll second that, and I have a question.
Okay.
So that's for a vote by mail. Are there not other ones that we have to come up with? I do think that May 1st is the start date, which is like next week or whatever. So are there any other bylaws that we have to come up with to
No.
hold an election?
No, not at this time. There might be others along down, but it doesn't need to be done by the May 1st deadline. Well, I will have nomination packages ready, already in pre-prepared envelopes for the position of mayor and for the position of councillor. And so they can start being picked up on May 1st.
Okay, and that will be then posted to our municipal website so that the people know.
Yeah.
And everything, okay. I couldn't remember, I've been through enough of them, but I couldn't remember whether there was any other bylaws that had to go with this one. Okay, thank you.
So I had a question, Denise, on Schedule A. Have you got the copy of it there? Number 2 refers to the close of voting on October the 26th, 2026.
Mhm.
So then down on number 2F.
Oh, it's in yellow, which means I haven't finalized that because I need to talk to Datafix,
Okay, so,
regarding that
so
information.
the last sentence in there, with the close of the poll on October the 24th.
Well, that's, so there's two actual dates there. Because vote by mail can come into the municipality at any point in time, and we have to process that on a daily basis. However, and that ends at the end of day on October the 24th. That's, no, sorry, that's the 23rd, end of day. I gotta change that back there, yeah. So 24th and 25th are then the weekend, the office isn't open, we don't gather the mail then. So anything that's gathered on the 26th, which is election day, will then be brought right into the election room, which will be here. And the election workers will have to open them up on that day.
Okay, that was my question. Thanks.
Okay, so I will change that 24th to 23rd. But yeah, those ones highlighted in yellow, those are the ones where I have to verify date. Because the September 12th, I need to speak with Datafix to see when their anticipated mail out date is.
And have you had any problems other years in that, you know, your mail out ballots and whatnot? The mail system is not 100% accurate. What happens when, you know, voting day comes and goes, and then all at once you get a returned letter that didn't get to the people?
Those are just marked as received, stamped as received, and they remain unopened for the period of time that we have to maintain documentation, and then they're shredded.
Okay. Anyone else?
Just
Yes, John.
I just had a question. There was going to be a requirement of new proponents to take the course. Is that still going to come to fruition or not?
I know that there's talk about other municipalities holding the course and you know, and then each municipality joining in and paying for their portion of the course. But I don't know if that's moved any further along.
So at this point, it's not a requirement.
No, I know the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing has issued webinar information regarding stuff like that, and we have posted that to our website and to our social media and the links to those courses.
Okay.
Is there anything in, if I may, is there anything in here that relates to a postal strike and what if? I've gone through it a couple times, I haven't seen nothing, so.
And we almost
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah, we have.
Well, the postal unions have recently signed, have they not? So I think the threat of a postal strike is low.
So we have a motion and a seconder, don't we, for that?
They have here, Scott and Dale Scott and Derek Seeds.
Okay. The next one under new business is the memo with regards to the on-call information technology maintenance and support. And it looks to me as if the administration had a look at this and awarded the contract to Nichols City Communications Limited. You have anything that we should know, Denise?
Well, currently, right now, we don't have IT support, and some of the stuff, I mean, we all have our own specialties, and none of us are IT specialists in the municipal office. And some of the stuff, especially when you talk about servers and how they interact with our individual computers, can get pretty technical and complicated, and I'm not comfortable allowing staff just to poke at the server to try and figure out how it works. We do need IT staff. So originally it was Derek Pekoski that came in and did that for us. Now, the amount of hours that Derek put in a year were maybe 20 hours a year, at the very most. And that was only when we had problems that he'd come in for, on a weekend. Through it and update everything, but the reality is that, we run a whole system with server and the line computers and the computers, the road shed and stuff like that, so we do need IT help. So we went out for an RFP and we got, the results back as shown. The reason why we have picked Nickel City, is because they don't require a monthly retainer. And the reality is that if you look at these monthly retainers, for like 25 for the lowest one, $900 retainer per month means that we're going to be spending $10,000 as a retainer per year for IT. Which, and if you look at the amount that Nickel City is gonna charge, that's the equivalent of, 90 hours. There's no way we do 90 hours of work, of IT work. So having, Nickel City without the retainer, that's, I think, is our best value, where it's just, we'll call them, they come in as needed, we pay 110 an hour or more if it's after hours, which generally we won't call after hours unless it's an absolute emergency. We have had them work for us before. They are actually in the process of redoing the telephones. And hopefully that will be hurried along. They are waiting for some equipment with respect to the chips and stuff like that that are hard to get at this juncture of the world. So they're waiting on those for delivery, and once they finish that, then they come in and finish the phone system. So because the phones are integrated as well with our network, it is a good, I think, idea to have Nickel City complete the IT as well.
Yes, John?
Do you need a motion to accept the recommendation?
Yep.
I'll give you a motion.
I second it.
I'll second that.
Derek?
Just got one more question.
Okay.
They'll come in and do their work. Do they still have, or do they have remote access to the system here too? Like they can actually go in and look and see if it's a problem or repair a problem?
They will.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but that's only done with proper permissions?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. The way we're gonna set up the server is no employee has no outside access from an outside computer to our server, none. When we do have an access to our server, it's done through permissions, and that I'm going to be sitting at the server, allowing and saying, yes, I will, accept you as an outside to come in and look at the server.
So they will not be able to see sensitive stuff that is not meant to be getting out there.
No, unfortunately, I can't say that, because once they're on the server, then yes, they'll be able to look around if they want to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that, unfortunately, you can't protect from your IT people.
My IT people used to do it all the time, and just go into your system.
Yeah, I've had the mouse going all over the place too.
Yeah, but normally
Yeah.
you invite them in, and that's what will happen is, when you say, hey, we've got an IT problem, they'll say, okay, here's the link, go to the link, allow us to have access. And at that point in time, they can have access then to do the fix or the
So
repair.
basically they'll be observed while they're in the server doing any work or whatever, if they're remotely.
Oh, yeah, we'll be able to look on the screen and watch what they do. Yes,
Okay, thanks.
Okay, since it's Nickel City, that it's Sudbury that they're based in.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's one of the other reasons it is local, I mean, well, as close to local as it can be. Because some of the other ones, when we talk about if it was on site, being charged 70 cents per mile, and the company's from Hamilton.
Yeah.
Well, their travel is going to be very expensive in order for them to have, support up here in person.
Mr.
And on the contract, do they have a guaranteed time? Response time, for emergencies have to be on site?
I don't have a full answer to that. Rose is the one who reviewed it all. But I did believe that was one of the criterias is for them to let us know what their response time was.
Okay.
So I can definitely get that information for
If
you.
we have an emergency, we need to know if you got that local contact, you can just phone them up and they can be
Yeah.
there within a few
Oh, yeah.
minutes, but, you really do need to know that response time, so. And the other one is there any way of putting into the contract terms about the inadvertently sharing of information and stuff like that? I know, big tech firms, when they hire in people, they're set on a privacy thing and nothing can get out and stuff like, or nothing's supposed to get out. And there can be, penalties and stuff put in place then in the contract. We do see, what Brian was saying, we do deal with a lot of sensitive information and that, is there anything in a contract that has a fines or penalties for that?
I can check that.
Okay.
Okay, yes, John.
One more, do we have insurance to cover, accidental loss of either equipment and or, software or information?
I'd have to review our policy, to give you an accurate answer on that. I don't have that answer available.
It's data theft is a big thing now. Big thing.
Yeah.
People might not even know they're doing it.
You've heard of lightning striking?
Mhm.
I had a 180-foot tower beside the office. And lightning struck and took my AS400 out of the picture. And courtesy of the insurance, they replaced it. Plus time for the, computer guys to come in, reset it and install software. So, just saying.
Okay, we'll go on then to 8 correspondence. We've got an email from Phenom, a letter from Phenom, a media release from Phenom, and a motion that they would like us to pass. All with regard to infrastructure funding. Would someone like to put this on the table?
No, this is all to do with equitable housing.
Okay.
Okay. Now, all of these letters refer to the same topic. So you can accept them all in one motion and then decide whether you want to echo the resolution that they have presented.
I'll make a motion then that we accept the 3 correspondence from,
Seconder?
Yeah, I was looking at-
Gary? With regard to the motion. How do you feel about that?
have a hard time when you start talking housing and that, and I think it's a private sector thing, and it can be a public sector thing, but. I don't know.
I can.
Yes, John. It's
The private sector thing doesn't make money in affordable housing, so they stay away from it as much as they can. So to support their request, that's a good thing, so. With that, you're asking for a motion to,
support the motion that they are sending to the government.
and I will give you that motion.
Chair?
Seconder, Brian?
I've already got a question on that. What's like, I've read through this thing here. The thing that bothers me is that the provincial and federal government have announced all this development funding. And I guess the cash is maybe flowing down south. But it bothers me that Phenom has now got to apply pressure, which are representing the north. That tells me there's a flaw in this whole program, that the money is not getting to where it needs to be up in the north. And it's being siphoned at the southern parts of our province, well, the provinces. or where the massive population is. But where it's needed is up in north, it's not getting here, and that bothers me that recognize that Phenom is having to apply pressure, or any pressure they got, to the powers to be to get a source of funding, or that's supposed to be for here. So it bothers me that this whole thing is being played out this way. So.
Anyone else?
But
Any thoughts? Derek?
that's why our DSAPs are looking at municipal partnerships, because our DSAPs are the ones that supply social housing and that and low income housing in a lot of our northern places. And their funding's being cut, so they're having a hard time accessing these funds too. So when it comes to federal and provincial politics, I don't know how you say it, but you just follow the money and you know where it's going. So. Anyway.
So when we develop here, the contractor does not have to pay a development charges. That is I'm reading this right?
Currently in this municipality, we do not have development charges.
Yeah.
If I may, I was in a conversation with the builder that's down in, Peninsula area, just recently. Today. And some of the work that he does on a single family lot, private owned, anywhere from 85,000 to. Those are the development charges that he starts with. That doesn't include the building permit. So that's right up front, hard cash.
That goes to the,
Municipality. We got a little thing similar to that with the development where the municipality's getting a lot of the 39, I believe, Richard. One lot, that's kind of a development charge in a way. But down south, different story, so.
then I think it's a good idea that Phenom is supporting it. If anybody's going to have any vote, maybe they will have some input.
We have a seconder for the support for that resolution.
That sounded good.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was Derek,
sorry, I didn't.
John and Derek. Okay, we're moving on to a letter from Community Living. They want to fly their flag raising,
They did it last year, this
Yeah.
past day, yeah.
for
they
the
did
month
it
of
last
May.
year.
So all we need is, a motion to allow them to do that.
Mhm.
Give that motion, Linda.
Dale? The seconder, Richard?
I've always believed the flagpoles are for the government, not for private enterprise. So I'm not a big proponent of using our flagpoles.
Oh,
Anybody opposed?
I don't mind if you do it, I just wouldn't do it.
Okay. Scary.
but we don't actually use our municipal office. Oh, yes, right.
Mhm.
We do keep these for.
Going on to financial business, the donation record as of the 31st of March.
Make a motion that we accept this donation already.
Thank you, Dale. Seconded. Richard. Anyone comment or wish to comment?
Just that we did have a previous meeting and there was a discussion by the fire chief about a $200 donation. Do we want to put that off to another meeting or?
Information on it.
Okay.
Post next month.
It could come next month, yeah, so.
So we have a fair bit of leeway there anyway.
So then Denise, I noticed the Easter egg hunt is,
What?
the Easter egg hunt, about 5 down, the top. Is that? I thought the fire department looked after that.
Did I put something in the wrong one?
That's
No, it's not.
sure, community of, whatever she is.
No, there's nothing on the Easter egg.
No, but shouldn't there be?
We
I'll
spent
show that-
$400 back in 2022.
That's done through our, events coordinator.
Yeah.
You handle that through event
Yeah.
coordination.
Let's see, okay.
Fire department helps throw the eggs all out there and hide them, but it's, that's coordinated with the program.
Or under operation.
Okay, then we'll go on to the year-to-date financial report.
Motion that we receive the report.
Thank you, Dale. Seconder? Thank you, Richard. Any questions?
Just curious, Madam Chair, I'm looking at the council wages and salaries were 14,000 last year, and they're up to 22,000. And yet, when we're looking at the budget figures, budget only increased by 2,000. So why is there that disparity?
It was the incorrect posting. That is the amounts for the next month that was posted in the previous month.
Did the same thing happen for the admin wages?
No, you shouldn't. It was just when
But it went from 47 to comparable 80 this year. Doesn't make sense.
well, maybe last year at this time, we didn't have the same amount of personnel. I mean, I know it's a lot, but I'd have to look at it to see exactly what the difference is. But you're right, it could be.
Doesn't look relative to what the other expenses were.
I'm sure it will. Once we get our next one, you'll see that it'll even out. It does have to do with the posting dates, and I know because I assisted our payroll clerk through the reconciliation for the month. And we did note that there was date differences in order to be able to balance. So,
Leave it in your capable hands.
okay.
Okay, then, I guess the next thing we're gonna get in camera, so I guess we're going to adjourn.
I can do that for you, Linda.
Thank you, Dale. Would you like to second it, Derek?
Do adjournments or money.
Pardon?
I don't do adjournments or money.
I've heard the truth before.
Only when I was.
Are you gonna adjourn?
Okay, fine, I'll do it. If you're gonna hound me.
We just wanted a second.
Thank you for everyone for bearing with us.
You must